Congratulations, Wolverines! I declare these proceedings for the commencement of 2022 at Utah Valley University to be in session. Please remain standing for the posting of the colors by the UVU ROTC Color Guard and the national anthem performed by Hannah Jensen. She is graduating tonight with a bachelor's in music performance.
Center, please. Forward, march.
Thank you, and please be seated. Graduates, how are you feeling? Good evening, graduates and families, and welcome to this celebration. Congratulations to the class of 2022. Following tonight's program, we will be sending you off with a bang that includes indoor fireworks with the approval of the fire department and police department. If you are sensitive to loud noises and bright lights, you may want to carefully and quietly exit the UCCU Center, not right now, but at 7:20 or 7:25 p.m. We appreciate all present and welcome those who have joined us via live streaming. It's a pleasure to have you all with us. We acknowledge our distinguished guests seated on the platform here behind me. Please stand as you are announced and remain standing. Graduates, families, and friends, please hold your applause until we have recognized everyone. We welcome our honorary degree recipients, Karen L Acersen, Mary C Daly, and Stephen J Lund. We welcome Chief Financial Officer at the Utah System of Higher Education, Juliet Tenert, and members of the Utah Board of Higher Education, Nina Barnes and Arthur Newell. We'd also like to recognize members of our UVU Board of Trustees, Chair James Clark, Jill Taylor, Rick Nielsen, Drew Huffaker, Paul Thompson, Scott Smith, Sydney Tetro, Jeanette Bennett, Blake Modersitsky, Student Body President Karen Magana Aguado, and Secretary of the Board, Clark Collings. Vice Presidents and other members of the President's Cabinet and Deans are with us as well. UVU's outstanding faculty are also represented on the platform tonight by Senate President Hillary Hungerford, and I see you faculty back there. Thank you for being here. We are so grateful for our educators who are dedicated to providing exceptional learning opportunities for our students. We also recognize Becca Grulich, President of the Professional Association of Campus Employees, or PACE. She represents literally thousands of UVU staff who provide the professional support necessary to achieve the academic mission of this great university. Welcome to all of you. You may now be seated. Thank you. Governor Spencer Cox couldn't join us this evening, but he sends his congratulations to our graduates.
President Jimenez, faculty, staff, distinguished graduates, family, and friends, congratulations to the class of 2022. I am proud to recognize the notable accomplishments that bring you here tonight. Not only have you completed your education and overcome all of the usual hurdles to reach this momentous occasion, but you also persisted during an unusual and unprecedented time. In celebrating this moment, you have proven your dedication to achieving your dreams. This accomplishment also speaks to the strength of the Utah Valley University community and the faculty and staff that have stood by you to help you achieve the title of a college graduate. You are a remarkably diverse group. I'm impressed by the different life experiences embodied here this evening and the record number of graduates receiving degrees. The diplomas you have earned mark an ending, but more importantly, they represent a new and exciting beginning. I welcome you as well-prepared graduates into the workforce. Tonight, we celebrate your victories with you as a state. We need you. Utah has the most robust economy in the nation based on job growth, unemployment rate, and our state's gross domestic product, among other key metrics. You bring the skills, passion, and education that will shape our future. We're counting on you as professionals, leaders, and citizens to make your homes, communities, and our state stronger. I'm confident that you will find Utah continues to be the best place to work, live, play, and raise a family. It has been my pleasure to watch Utah Valley University grow, get to know your leadership, and to observe how your student body succeeds through talent, grit, and sheer tenacity. I have every confidence in your ability to achieve your dreams. I look forward to seeing your next steps as you continue the trajectory of success on your life path. Once again, congratulations, UVU Class of 2022.
class of 2022 is mighty and in spirit and in numbers. Tonight we celebrate 11,064 students who have earned a total of 14,431 degrees. You are the largest graduating class in UVU's 81-year history. Woohoo! Our graduates arrived at UVU from every Utah county, 44 states and territories, and 21 countries. The youngest is just 16 years old. Woo! And the oldest is 77 years young. % of the students in the class of 2022 are over the age of 25. That's still very young. And 35% of our graduates are first in their families to complete a college degree. At UVU, we share an open invitation to all students to come as you are. Come from wherever you're from and bring your dreams. As we like to say, there's a place for you at UVU. Our goal as a university community is to ensure that you feel included and are engaged in your education, and you reach this pivotal moment of achievement. But class of 2022, we know that there have likely been people beside you and behind you throughout this journey, supporting and encouraging you every step of the way. Graduates, please take this moment to recognize your partners, families, pets, friends, and the faculty and staff who have championed your efforts and helped you succeed. Each of our students bring unique talents, gifts, and spirit to the tightly woven and very green tapestry that makes UVU remarkable. We have appreciated the time spent with you. Let's take a moment to look back at what we have shared and what it means to be a proud Wolverine.
We got the world at our feet. Can you feel the heat? Though we're standing on the edge of a knife between fake and real life, and we can make it better if we stick together. Yeah, yeah. If we stick together.
College is a memorable period of growth and discovery academically, personally, and socially. We hope that your memories and the friendships you forged as a Wolverine will be long-lasting. It's now my pleasure to introduce Utah Valley University's 2022 valedictorians who are seated in the front row. Please rise. students have distinguished themselves through exceptional academic achievement and were selected to represent the university's colleges and schools, which may name a valedictorian at the baccalaureate or associate degree level, or both. You will find more information about these extraordinary individuals in your programs. Please join me in another round of applause for this very impressive group of students. You may sit down. May we now have all of our students who are graduating summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and cum laude, please stand and be recognized. Congratulations to all of you on your outstanding academic achievements. We are so proud of you. Utah Valley University Student Body President Karen Magana Aguado is also an exceptionally talented student. I have enjoyed working with Karen this past year. As a passionate and dedicated leader, she also served as UVUSA's Chief Inclusion Officer. During her term, she successfully connected student government with various organizations on campus, enabling the representation of diverse student voices. We congratulate Karen on an outstanding job, and tonight she will offer her final remarks to you, the class of 2022. Karen Magana Aguado.
Hello, graduates. I'm honored to join in on congratulating all of you on this momentous achievement. Completing a degree alone is no small feat, and here you've been able to do that all while navigating probably a million other responsibilities. I admire your drive and perseverance, your grit, your willingness to continue your academic journey despite even the most uncertain of circumstances. A year ago, we had the largest graduating class in UVU's history with over 8,000 graduates. And like President Tumines said, this year we again have the largest graduating class we've ever had with over 11,000 graduates. Wolverines, thank you for making UVU look so good, especially on a day like today. You are all an inspiration to all future Utah Valley University graduates, and I can say that with confidence as one of those Wolverines who is so deeply inspired by you. Like many of you graduating today, I am a first-generation college student. I am the daughter of Mexican immigrants who pushed me to pursue education in all the ways I had access to it. My parents and siblings have given me everything they could so that I have the tools to pursue my wildest dreams. And UVU quickly became a part of those dreams, but I didn't know that immediately. In fact, there were very few times I actually allowed myself to dream because I refused to set myself up to be disappointed. As I reflect on my experience at UVU, all I can think to describe it as is the word growth. It seems simple enough. Even the university is experiencing tremendous growth with our new facilities and programs, but when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the trenches, it becomes easy to get caught up in the future and ignore the progress you've made to get where you are. Right now, you might be thinking about the next degree you're pursuing, or the job you're going to apply for, or where you're going to dinner later. But no matter how hard we try, and we've seen this evidenced over the past 2 years, it's kind of impossible to know exactly what the future holds. If you're anything like me, one day you're crying in the parking lot because it's your first day of college ever and you can't find your car, And another, you're a junior dancing in the very same parking lot with President Tumínez as she welcomes everyone to their first day of the semester. One day, you think you'll be lucky to get hired anywhere after graduation, and the next, you have the internship of your dreams. One day, you're sure you'll make it through college with your head down and your grades high, and the next, you're addressing the entire graduating class of 2022. The grade part also did not pan out entirely as anticipated. One day, you're pulling all-nighters to get through finals week, just itching for graduation to come, and the next, you're here. When I first came to the university, I didn't yet know what it was like to dream, but UVU showed me how. One day, you realize that you are the dream, that right now, in this moment, you are the dream. And Wolverines, I hope that you find that today is one of those days for you. Felicidades and congratulations, class of 2022.
Thank you, Karen. Let's give her one more round of applause. It is now my pleasure to invite James Clark, Chair of the University's Board of Trustees, to confer our honorary doctoral degrees. James Clark.
Thank you, President Tumínez, and congratulations, you wonderful UVU graduates. We're so proud of you. You inspire us, and you fill us with hope for the brighter future that's in store for us. We're so proud of your accomplishments and everything that you do. Each year at this special occasion, Utah Valley University confers doctoral degrees, honorary doctoral degrees, upon women and men whose service to society is of such high order and significance as to warrant this acknowledgement. It is the highest honor bestowed by this university. Now, on behalf of the university's Board of Trustees, we are pleased to introduce the individuals who have earned this prestigious recognition. Trustee and our Vice Chair, Jill Taylor, will now present to our first candidate, Karen L Acersen.
Well, let me add my congratulations to our graduates. It really is so wonderful to share this special occasion with all of you. Our first candidate to receive an honorary degree this evening is Karen L Acerson, who has exhibited tremendous dedication to Utah Valley University as a member of the Board of Trustees for just 11 years. Karen is also an accomplished writer with the New York Times best-selling book, but she's best known for her dedication and remarkable service to our community. Karen L Acerson.
I know Karen from her coming to Word Perfect and becoming our 20th employee. She became so good and so articulate. We had a lot of sales that came from her going out and demonstrating the product.
When I worked at Word Perfect, we had to have this limited manual, and I had a lot to say because when I wrote my books, I wrote them for my mom. I thought, if my mom can understand this, then everybody should be able to understand this, right? So I made sure that she would know, and apparently everybody else loved it too. So I was surprised that it was a bestseller, and just tried to organize it so that they could find the information easily, but they didn't have to read the whole thing. They could just find what they needed.
The thing that I find and found when I first met Karen, the most extraordinary about her, was her selflessness and her desire to serve. She's very people-oriented, but very one-on-one focused.
She is the champion of a good cause. She always has been, and I cannot imagine that she won't always be the champion of a good cause. She's an incredible mother. If her children need her, she can read them like a book, and she will go to their aid instantly.
A lot of people will say nowadays, oh, you're the younger ones, you can help me with this technology, or you can help me figure out this. And I always call my mom because she is just always learning and she knows. But not only with the learning aspect, I think with the outreach. Education is great, but it's only as powerful as you make it as far as your involvement in community, with people, with individuals. And I would say above her love of learning, it's her love of people.
I know this is really a very sweet honor to have an honorary doctorate, but you know, education improves not only you, but your family and your whole community. It really is the thing to do to get an education.
I love my mom and really grateful for the example she's been. Not only has she done this masterful job of learning and sharing, but it's always so individual, and being her daughter and with all the many things she's done abroad in Italy, and with working full-time most of her life, I've always felt very seen and cared for, and I want to say that's probably for everyone she interacts with.
Dear UVU graduates, I'm so proud of what you've accomplished today for these last many years that you've been in school, getting this great education. Now go forward through all of your communities that you're going to eventually move into, make them better, serve the people there, work hard, and leave it better than you found it. Good luck and congratulations.
Will Karen L Acersen please rise, and will President Jimenez and Stephen Clark, Dean of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, please join me. In consideration of your extraordinary dedication to Utah Valley University and your service as a member of the Board of Trustees, and whereas you have provided service to the broader community, enhancing and promoting education at all levels, storytelling, and the importance of creating common ground, connectivity, and opportunity. Therefore, with the approval of its Board of Trustees, UVU presents Karen L Acersen with the Honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters on this 6th day of May 2022.
Congratulations, Dr. Acersen. That sounds so great to say. One more round of applause. It is now my pleasure to introduce my fellow trustee and vice chair of the Board of Trustees, Rick Nielsen, who will present our second candidate for an honorary degree.
Good evening, Wolverines. What a tremendous pleasure to recognize you and your accomplishments. We acknowledge your milestone tonight and we celebrate you. It is my honor to present our second honorary degree candidate. Stephen J. Lund is also dedicated to education. He served on UVU's Board of Trustees as a regent of the state of Utah's system of higher education. He's an attorney and the co-founder and executive chairman of New Skin Enterprises. Despite his busy schedule, he has given his life to service. Stephen J. Lund.
Steve, I would say he's likable, he's honest, approachable, and has great integrity.
Community service has been a big part of my dad's life. Along the way, he had the chance to serve as a board member and then chairman of the board at UVU, and then later as a regent for the state of Utah. It was a reflection to me of his commitment to the community and to education.
U of U is truly a special place. They are doing things, we are doing things here different than just about anywhere else in the country. To maintain that community vision of what does this community need in providing educational responses, while at the same time being a platform onto higher education is a tremendous achievement.
My dad is such an exceptional example of being honest and true in everything that he does. He has some of the most deepest character of anybody that I know. I trust him with all of my heart. He has always had such a big heart for other people, and that he truly cares about other people. And he's a really strong friend in a one-on-one basis, as well as being a great leader to groups of people as well.
Service is an important thing in one's life. That's really one of the principal places you find happiness. My wife and I have been to Africa, to Malawi, which is sort of our epicenter of service in Africa. You know, Malawi is an interesting place. There are about 15 million people there. About 2 million of those 15 million are AIDS orphans, mother and father lost to disease. To go and look in the eyes of these children, you immediately fall in love with them. These are kids you would run into traffic to save. And in so many instances, the difference that Nu Skin is making is the difference between them growing up with healthy bodies and minds or not. So it's a tremendous thing to be able to see firsthand the amazing good that this community's been doing.
Steve is very deserving of this honor and has spent decades uplifting the entire Utah Valley community.
My advice for the class of 2022 would be to keep learning, I guess. That's pretty prosaic. I got out of college, out of law school, and went to work for a startup company. And so will each of you. A startup company is a company that's still trying to find its way. You know, the successes of my life have been driven by the fact that we've been willing to jump in and do things that others haven't done before, having confidence that if we could figure out answers to hard questions, those answers would represent a barrier to entry to those that are coming along behind, because they're going to have to figure that out too. Go out and be a little entrepreneurial, and the days of going to work for GE when you're 17 and retiring from there are probably long past, and that's a good thing.
Thank you. Will Stephen J. Lund please rise, and will President Tuminez and Dr. Stephen C. Huff, Interim Dean of the Woodbury School of Business, please join him. In consideration of your service to Utah Valley University as the Chair of the Board of Trustees, and your support as a Utah Regent, and whereas you have given freely of your time and resources to elevate the state of Utah through service, and in recognition of your vision to provide the opportunity for success and prosperity to others through your global business and humanitarian endeavors. Therefore, with the approval of its Board of Trustees, UVU presents Stephen J. Lund with the Honorary Doctorate of Business on this 6th day of May, 2022.
One more round of applause for Dr. Lund. We are so grateful. Our dear friend, our former chair, my fellow trustees right here, Dr. L Acersen and Dr. Stephen Lund, thank you so much. Our final honorary degree this evening will be awarded to Mary C. Daly. Now, like so many of you, Dr. Daly was the first in her family to graduate from college. She's now president and CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. It's a big deal. Now, the headquarters of the bank, of course, is in San Francisco, but it's the headquarters of the 12th Federal Reserve District, encompassing 9 states, including Utah. It's the largest by geography and the size of its economy. We now welcome Mary C. Daly.
Mary Daly's path to success was not without challenges. She grew up in Baldwin, Missouri, where at the age of 15, she dropped out of high school because of family hardships.
One of Mary's greatest strengths that helped her overcome challenges of her youth was her ability to just hold on to hope, even in the wake of unfathomable odds, and to continue to try to look for the light at the end of the tunnel, even when it seems that there is none.
Thanks to the support of mentors, her hiatus from education was not long-lasting. Daly earned her GED when she was 17.
She's incredibly tenacious. She never gives up. She always believes there's a solution to be found, and she will try her hardest to get to that.
Daly became the first person in her family to graduate from college, earning a bachelor's degree from the University of Missouri, Kansas City. She followed this with a master's degree from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and a PhD from Syracuse University.
I actually think that the world needs to be a kinder, more supportive, more forgiving and accepting place to make room for people like Mary who haven't necessarily taken a straight path and have done an exceptional job taking the less direct, crooked path.
That path led her to the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco in 1996, where she proved herself to be one of the nation's most brilliant economic minds. In 2018, after an application process that took more than a half a year, she became the president and CEO.
It was incredibly exciting as well, and I'll never forget the call I got when she got word, and it was super exciting and incredibly well-deserved.
Since then, Mary Daly has dedicated her life to serving her region and the concept of 3D public service, which reinforces the need to bring human vulnerability and compassion, along with optimism and pragmatism, to solve society's most pressing issues.
There are so many things that make Mary exceptional. She's loyal, she's authentic, she's caring, she's smart, she's funny, she's so dedicated, she's truly one in a million.
Truly remarkable. Now, will Mary C. Daly please rise? And will President Tuminez and Cheryl Hanowitz, Dean of the College of Health and Public Service, please join us at the podium? In consideration of your dedication to raising the profile of public service and your commitment and contributions to first-generation student success, and whereas you give freely of your time and your talents by serving on multiple national boards, and in recognition of your significant contributions to the economic success of the region, therefore, with the approval of the Board of Trustees, UVU presents Mary C. Daly with the Honorary Doctorate of Public Service on this 6th day of May, 2022.
Yes, I am using a podium, guys. I'm so short. Congratulations to our honorary degree recipients. We appreciate all of you as exceptional role models for the class of 2022. Let's give them another round of applause. We will now be honored to hear from Dr. Daly as our commencement speaker. Dr. Daly.
So thank you so much for the honor of being here. Thank you so much for the honorary doctorate. I have so much emotion I can barely speak, but I'm going to do my best because it is your commencement, not mine. But I'm really just thrilled to be here, and what I want to start with is that I want all the graduates, and at this point only the graduates, to give yourselves a big round of applause because you deserve it. And you're going to need that, you know, as you go out. You're going to need that self-reflection, that sort of accomplishment feeling. That's important. It keeps us going. And for everyone else here, family, friends, professors, university leaders, these graduates are our future, and I stand with you in looking forward to what all of these individuals, the 11,000 new graduates, are going to do. Now, for those of you who are worried, I'm going to talk about inflation or interest rates or economics. Be relieved. I'm actually going to talk about things that are important to hear at commencement. And it made me start to reflect on the last time I sat here, which was 1994, sat where you are today. And that's a long time ago, almost 30 years ago. I was graduating with my PhD from Syracuse University, and I was looking really forward to my new life as an economist. So when I got my first job in the research department of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco, I was excited. And then in 2018, when I got the job I have now as president and CEO, I was ecstatic. I actually did this move. I got the job, which was much more, I'm on a podium, so I can't do that, but it was a moment of happiness. But when the job of president became available, I knew I was qualified. I felt qualified. But I also understood that the competition would be tough. After all, the Fed is a very storied institution, and many of the world's greatest economists have passed through its doors. And most of my colleagues who worked at the Fed had arrived with degrees from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and Stanford. Pedigrees that could feel intimidating. And now I was competing with not just the people who were working at the Fed, but the hundreds of applicants outside of the Fed with portfolios, pedigrees that I thought and worried could be better than mine. And so I did something that almost all of us do when we want to stand out. I wrote a beautiful cover letter. When I look back, it was like a truly work of art. It expounded on history, the state of the nation, and how my long list of credentials accumulated over my career were meant for an opportunity like this. 1 week later, it took me a week, I finished the letter, and I proudly showed it to an acquaintance of mine who had experience in hiring for these kind of big jobs. And she said, "Wow, Mary, this letter is amazing." And then she said, "But anyone could have written it." And my heart sank. But I also knew that she was right, because I had written the letter that I thought the hiring committee wanted to read. And I was presenting in that letter the person I thought I needed to present to get the job. And this was a person in my mind who bore only an abstract resemblance to the real me. And let me tell you about the real me. You saw a little bit about it in the video, but I want to be more direct. I grew up in Baldwin, Missouri, and when I was 15, I dropped out of high school. My family was struggling, and I thought my time would be better spent earning an income and helping support them. So I cobbled together a whole schedule of odd jobs. I worked at a donut shop, a Target, hoping eventually to become a bus driver because that had stable income and benefits. And by an unexpected twist of fate, I met someone who encouraged me, and she encouraged me to get a GED. And later, after more encouragement, I became the first in my family to attend and graduate from college. Now that was my story. That was the real Mary. But to put it mildly, that's very different from most of my colleagues and anyone else, because I looked, who had ever held the position anywhere in the country that I was trying to get. And so I left that part of me out, and I focused on credentials, accomplishments, and things that made me look similar to other candidates, not different. But when I think about it, and I did a lot, it wasn't the first time I had done this. In my early years at the Fed, just starting out as a junior economist, I felt the need to fit into a certain mold. So I went shopping. What else do we do? I bought pearls and skirt suits, even a scoop neck sweater, which I'd never worn in my life. And now anyone who knows me, and anyone who's ever seen me, knows that I'm much more comfortable in slacks and a collared shirt, which is the outfit of choice most days. But back then, I dressed as the person I thought people needed to see, wanted to see. I was trying to signal something. I'm an economist. I even tried, and it's somewhat amazing, but I even tried to style my hair a certain way to make it look like other people's. So I worked really hard to become Economist Mary rather than just Mary. But that mindset, it spread, and it began to permeate everything. So in conversations with my new colleagues, I was very careful not to veer into topics that felt too personal. And I tried hard not to reveal very much of my background. I kept things solidly focused on work, job, and contribution, all with the view that people cannot judge what they do not know. But pretending, and this is something I want to underline here, pretending, as it turns out, is exhausting. And it's also hugely limiting. I was sitting on a mountain of experience that gave me unique insight into how the economy functions and how it works. As a kid from Missouri, I witnessed firsthand how people get left behind, fall through the cracks, and the lasting impact generations out that this can have on families. I saw repeatedly the toll that poverty takes and the stress that people feel when they don't have opportunities. But I never talked about it. And so on the outside, as an economist, I look like everyone else. I had become Mary the economist with a job as a researcher instead of Mary from Missouri with a GED. Now, the irony of all of this is that no one actually asked me to play a role. I had done that to myself. And as I started to understand that, I started to change gradually. Little by little, I shed the pearls and the skirts. I let my hair be wild. And I even agreed to a profile, and this was a big deal, in a major news outlet that revealed personal details about my past, including where I'd come from. And getting that space to be myself was a truly remarkable gift. I felt newly at ease, and that ease translated into opportunities. By being open and me and all of me, I attracted people with diverse ideas. I connected my experiences with my research, and I found capacity that I never knew I had. So I became so much better at my job and also at my life. Because mostly I found confidence and fortitude from aligning my inner self with my outer self. I was Mary with a GED who also had a PhD. And then, somewhat surprisingly to me, but maybe not to anyone who listens, my career took off. Which then brings me all the way back to 2018. 20 years after I stopped wearing pearls, applying for the top job at the bank where I'd built my career, and here I was, back to my old habits. Once again, playing a role. back to the Mary I thought people wanted me to be, rather than the Mary I was. So it didn't take me long to decide, and I rewrote the letter. But this time, I leaned into my story. I talked about my life growing up in Baldwin, Missouri, the eldest of 4 siblings, in a family with significant challenges, and how those experiences helped me understand the responsibility of institutions like the Fed and the honor of serving others. I also talked about dignity, economic dignity, and how the Fed is important in creating better situations for the economy and sustaining opportunities for everyone. I wrote that letter in under 2 hours, and no one else could have written it. And when I hit the send button to send it off to the committee, I felt absolutely terrified. But of course, we all know how the story ends. 6 months and many interviews later, I got the job. Not in spite of where I came from, but because of where I came from. And I ultimately relearned what I'd learned so many times before. Difference, my difference, is a virtue, not a weakness. So this brings me to the time in my talk or my speech where I want very much to impart some lasting wisdom to you, a philosophy for how to live your life and accomplish your dreams. And in simple words, it's this: be yourself and stay true to who you are. Now that's good advice. You should take it. You should absolutely take that advice. But the truth is, in your heart, you already know that. But what you probably don't know, and what I've learned in my 30-year career, is that being yourself isn't a switch that you can simply turn on and then it stays on forever. It's a journey, and it's one that you will need to take over and over again. Because throughout your lives and your career, you will likely lose yourself here and there. It happens. You will drift away from the person you know you are inside, and you may feel out of sorts, like you don't fit in, and you may want to hide. And in those times, and you can think of me, you very well might do as I have done and take refuge in a mask, behind a mask of your own making. And I want to leave you with this: that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually part of being human. There is safety in conformity, and being yourself, especially yourself when it's different from others, can feel risky. Each and every one of us, there's no one in this room and no one out in the world that doesn't feel vulnerable and exposed when they're different. But as you embark on your new paths with your degrees, and you stretch for new things and build your careers and find yourself in unfamiliar places, here's what I want you to do. Turn back. Find your way back to who you are. Return to the core of what you know, because this is the place from which your greatness will grow. In the end, everyone is, but today we're talking about you. You are the sum total of every experience, every triumph, every hardship, every challenge that you have ever endured. And this singular equation that only you can bring is your superpower. It is that secret combination that unlocks your innate talents and sets you apart from every other person in the world. It is what makes your letter, whenever you write it, uniquely yours. And so, class of 2022, here's what I want to ask you. What will your letter say? My wish for you, my heartfelt wish, is that it will say the things you were most afraid to reveal. That these revelations will upend assumptions about who belongs where, and that your bravery will fly in the face of worry and fear and all the other emotions that arise when we strive to do something more. And most of all, I hope your letter will be unmistakably and unapologetically you. And to that you, I say congratulations on your momentous achievement. I cannot wait to see the letters you write, the yous you are, and all the amazing accomplishments you make. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Daly, for inspiring us with your tenacity and courage. We appreciate your words of encouragement and advice to UVU's graduates, particularly during these times of turmoil. Thank you for being with us this evening as we celebrate their accomplishments and what they will bring to the future. Drew Huffaker, President of the Utah Valley University Alumni Board of Directors and a UVU trustee, now joins us to welcome the class of 2022 as alumni with a time-honored tradition. Drew.
As you, the class of 2022, leave our campus in the quest to discover your future, you will learn that you are not alone. You're in the outstanding company of the thousands who have gone before you. You are about to officially join the ranks of a distinguished Utah Valley University alumni community. Graduate candidates, please arise. As the duly appointed president of the Alumni Board of Directors, I charge you, the graduating class of 2022, to uphold the values celebrated in the mission of this institution from which you have received your higher education. I encourage you to go forth from this ceremony as people who live and exemplify the core values of exceptional care, exceptional accountability, and exceptional results. I invite you to signify your willingness to uphold these values by each announcing, "I will," to this assembly in response to the following question. Graduates, will you accept the responsibility to live and exemplify UVU's core values? Therefore, on this 6th day of May 2022, I officially declare that having received your degrees through the proper authority of this institution, you join the ranks of proud UVU alumni. Together with thousands of others, you will forever be Wolverines. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. Graduates, I officially welcome all of you to the ranks of UVU alumni. Congratulations. You may sit down. I'll now take a few minutes to make some personal remarks. What a glorious occasion this is for you graduates, your family, and for UVU. Thank you for believing in yourself and persevering, and thank you for all the hard work that has brought you to tonight's graduation. In 2021, the most powerful book I read was Richard Powers' The Overstory, a novel about people and trees, but mostly trees. Tonight, I'd like to share 3 thoughts that were inspired by this novel. Did you know? The Overstory taught me new things about trees. Did you know that 4 billion of the mighty American chestnut, which used to fill the forests of the eastern United States, were decimated in a matter of decades by a blight fungus? Did you know that trees are social beings that communicate above ground and underground? Did you know that some can release chemicals into the air to summon an army of wasps to protect them from invading insects? Did you know that trees can filter poison from the ground and that you and I share 1/4 of our DNA with trees? Richard Powers said that he read more than 120 books on trees while doing research for his novel. That's why he could write about trees with such beauty, accuracy, and devotion. As you leave UVU, I hope that you will always remember the phrase, "Did you know?" It will remind you to be curious, ask questions, and pay attention to the things that are important. Pay attention to trees, loved ones, a new morning, the work in front of you. As the great poet Mary Oliver said, attention is the beginning of devotion. Your ability to choose what is worthy of your time, energy, and effort in your work and personal lives will very much depend on what you are paying attention to, what you are observing, and what you are asking questions about. In the Overstory, one of the main characters is Olivia Vandergriff, a privileged young woman away at college. One night, high on drugs and still wet from a shower, she gets electrocuted and momentarily dies. She sees some mysterious beings of light and in a mystical way looks to them for direction. She ditches college, drives west, and finds her life's purpose with a group trying to save old-growth redwood forests from a logging company. She ends up living for a year on top of one of the oldest, biggest redwood trees called Mimas, trying to save it from being cut down. Olivia's character is based in part on Julia Butterfly Hill, a real person. In the late 1990s, Julia lived for 738 days in the canopy of a 1,000-year-old redwood tree named Luna. She writes, quote, "When I entered the majestic cathedral of the redwood forest for the first time, my spirit knew it had found what it was searching for. I dropped to my knees and began to cry because I was so overwhelmed by the wisdom, energy, and spirituality housed in this holiest of temples," close quote. Before she found purpose as a protector of forests at age 22, Julia was in an accident in which a drunk driver hit the back of the car she was driving, causing the steering wheel to penetrate Julia's skull. It took many months of intensive therapy before she could talk and walk again. This accident focused her life. The stories of Olivia and Julia remind me how important it is to find purpose in life. For some, purpose comes full-blown. For others, it comes piece by piece. And yet for others, it comes as a result of crisis. As graduates, make the effort to define your why. What kind of work makes you feel alive and why? How can you better serve others and improve your relationships? What great things would you attempt if you could get rid of fear? Don't wait to have a steering wheel in your head to realize how short and precious life is. Be open to your own revelations and epiphanies. You will surely make mistakes, but remember that mistakes are part of the journey. We are formed more by our failures than our successes. As long as we are learning, the effort and the journey are worth it. Finally, what is time for trees? Trees have been around for 360 million years, and we humans have been around for only 300,000 years. In the Overstory, the author proposes a thought experiment. Quote, "Say the planet is born at midnight, and it turns for one day. First, there is nothing. Life doesn't show up until 3 or 4 a.m. The day is 2/3 done when animals and plants part ways. Dusk falls before compound life takes hold. By 11, dinosaurs have shot their bolt, leaving the mammals and birds in charge for an hour. Somewhere in that last 60 minutes, life grows aware. An anatomically modern man shows up 4 seconds before midnight. By midnight, most of the globe is converted to row crops for the care and feeding of one species. And that's when the tree of life becomes something else again. That's when the giant trunk starts to teeter, close quote. To teeter means to sway or move unsteadily. As the class of 2022, you have just been through a pandemic and an election crisis in the United States. Today, you are seeing a brutal war unfold in Ukraine. You have read about or experienced crises from drought to wildfires, storms and floods. There seems so much to fear and worry about. This is only one of many moments where you may feel like the trunk of life is teetering, whether that's in your personal life, this country, or the whole earth. In a world that is teetering, these ancient creatures called trees, who have been witness to many things, remind us that we can stay rooted, stand still, and breathe. As you leave UVU, remember that breathing and stillness are a superpower. Every day, practice breathing and coming home to yourself, to your body. When you are overcome by strong and difficult emotions, breathe deeply and slowly. Come back to the present moment. Let go of the past and don't worry too much about the future. Be home, here and now. If you do this, your ability to work with life as it is and to find hope, joy, and peace, no matter your trials, will be enlarged. Graduates, remember to be curious and observe. Define your purpose. Don't be afraid to be great. And remember to breathe. I am so proud of all of you. Godspeed. Go Wolverines! Woo! And now it is time for tonight's greatest purpose, the presentation of degrees. Dr. Wayne Vaught, Provost and Senior Vice President of Academic Affairs, will now join me as we present the candidates for graduation.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight is a very special night, and it's one of my favorite events of the academic year. It's our chance to recognize the accomplishments of our talented students and to celebrate, along with family and friends, the many years of hard work, of sacrifice and dedication that now allows these students to achieve a recognition that will remain forever theirs, the awarding of a college degree. President, all that stands between these students and a college degree tonight is their ability to follow a few simple instructions. If they can follow these instructions, we will confer upon them a college degree. If they cannot, we have another commencement next year. Would you please take a moment to give these graduates a rousing round of support? And now, graduates, I ask you to close your eyes, take the deep breath that President Jimenez has advised you to take, and ask yourself, what degree have I been working on for the past 2 or 3 or 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8, several years? And as I call your names, please rise. I invite the candidates for the Master of Accountancy, the Master of Arts, the Master of Business Administration, the Master of Computer Science, Master of Education, Master of Public Service, Master of Science in Cybersecurity, Master of Science in Nursing, and Master of Social Work to please rise. Here's that instruction part. Please remain standing as you are joined by the undergraduates. Will our candidates for the Bachelor of Arts, the Bachelor of Fine Arts, the Bachelor of Music, the Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Social Work, would you please rise? Remain standing. Candidates for the Associate in Applied Science, Associate in Arts, Associate in Pre-Engineering, Associate in Science, Associate in Science and Business, and Associate in Science in Nursing, would you please rise? And now would all other candidates for diplomas, certificates of proficiency, and certificates of completion please stand? Everyone should now be standing. President Jimenez, on behalf of the faculty, I present the candidates for the master's, bachelor's, and associate's degrees, the diplomas and certificates. These candidates have completed all the requirements for their respective degrees, diplomas, and certificates, and the faculty has approved their candidacy pursuant to the completion of all their degree requirements. Do that. President, I now recommend that the appropriate master's, bachelor's, and associate degrees and diplomas and certificates be awarded to them.
I didn't hear that. Candidates, you have all fulfilled the requirements for the appropriate master's, bachelor's, and associate degrees, diplomas, and certificates, and have been recommended by the faculty for graduation. By virtue of the authority vested in me as president of Utah Valley University, by the people of Utah, through the representatives in the legislature and on the Utah Board of Higher Education, and on the recommendation of the faculty of Utah Valley University and its Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the appropriate degree, diploma, or certificate which entitles you to all the rights, privileges, and honors thereto pertaining. You may now move your tassels from the right to the left of your mortal board. Please accept our heartfelt congratulations. You may sit down. We thank all of those who arranged our convocations today, which were so amazing, and this commencement ceremony. Special thanks to the Utah Valley University Wind Symphony, conducted by Professor Thomas Keck, for the processional and recessional music, and the Payson Bagpipe Band. How special. Go Payson! For contributing to our celebration. Thank you to everyone who joined us tonight for your participation in person and through live streaming. Let us all give our graduates one more round of applause. Thank you. We now offer a slightly loud and celebratory salute to the class of 2020. Let's go out with a bang. Congratulations. Woo!
Please remain seated as our platform guests begin the recessional. We invite our graduates to join the recessional.